You're in your 50s and you're about to move, but not to a different city or even to a different country, but to an entirely different continent. And when you do that, packing becomes so much more than just putting bubble wrap and fitting things into boxes. As I started going through my stuff, it became obvious that packing was just the tip of the iceberg. Each item that I picked up was like a time capsule. It reminded me of pieces of my life that I've forgotten and who I used to be. It was like a door to my past, and honestly, I was very surprised by how overwhelmed and how emotional I became as I was going through my stuff. I found my daughter's first baby shoes, which brought back happy memories of being a young mom, but not all memories were rosy. There were the letters from way before text messages were a thing. These were handwritten letters from my college days, juggling my studies as a psychology student with financial struggles. I was paying for my own tuition and trying to keep my head above water. Reading these letters was like chatting to my younger self. As I went through my stuff, I realized how limited the human memory is. We forget so much of our past, and the physical items were like memory triggers. They've brought back memories that I've almost forgotten about. I guess that it's nature's way to help us move forward by forgetting the past. We stay focused on the future and we are able to move on. Packing became like a kind of therapy. It pushed me to face my past and make peace with all these memories before I move on. And then there was my artwork, canvases full of color and emotions from the time I was passionate about painting. But now I'm asking myself, do I keep them or do I get rid of them? Getting rid of them felt like getting rid of a piece of myself. But on the other hand, these paintings have been stored in the basement in the last few years, collecting dust. So do I ship them to the other side of the world just to store them in another basement? Or is it better if I just take some photos and let go of the actual paintings? And as the boxes filled up, I realized I wasn't just packing. I was deciding what fits into the new life that I was creating. If you're wondering why I'm narrowing down my whole life into a tiny 13-cube storage, the reason is I'm moving to Portugal. My life has reached a point where I don't need to be in one place anymore, and it feels like the perfect moment for a change. If you haven't already watched it, go watch my other video about why I'm moving alone to Portugal. I'll put a link to it at the end of this video. I've been going back and forth to Portugal in the last 2 years, and it's really starting to feel like home. But now, for the first time, I've signed for a year-long lease. The whole purpose behind storing my stuff is that I'm not 100% sure yet where I want to settle and create my home. And I want to take this year to explore and make sure that I'm making the right decision on where I want to settle for good. You know what surprised me the most while I was packing? That I felt a lot of guilt. I felt guilty for wanting to create a better future for myself because it means leaving my home country, Israel. This country with its unique history and culture has shaped me in ways that I can't even begin to express. I love the creativity, the warmth, the generosity, and the directness of the Israeli people, and it's part of who I am. And I admire the Israeli people for their resilience, especially in these challenging times. Without going too deep into politics, the way the Israeli people are standing up to protect their democracy fills me with pride. Hundreds of thousands of people coming together, protesting consistently every week. For me, it's just living proof to the Israeli spirit. While I feel a strong bond to Israel, it's also clear to me that I need to explore another place. But leaving behind the people that I care about, who either can't or won't move, makes me really sad. My grandparents had the courage to make a bold move and escape Italy on the last civilian plane that was allowed to leave the country before World War II. And that's how they were saved from the Holocaust. And honestly, that story has become like a narrative that shaped who I am. When things are going crazy, it might just be a sign from the universe to get up and go. If you're getting value from this video so far, please do me a quick favor. Just click on the like button below. It helps with the algorithm and the ranking. And why not subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I also found myself feeling guilty about wanting to let go of some of the items that have been handed to me from the family. Sometimes I feel like I have to keep these things around even though they're not exactly my style, just because the guilt of letting them go is so overwhelming. Whether it's furniture or even this hat box that belonged to my grandmother's sister. She had a very classic taste and was all about hats, which is probably why I ended up with this box. I love fashion and style, and this hat box makes me feel connected to my ancestors, so I'm keeping it. Letting go of things that hold a deep sentimental value is really hard. So what I did is I offered some of these items to my extended family. At least that way I know they'll find a good home and they'll still stay in the family. One very important thing to remember if you're relocating, especially at this stage in life, it's much more than just a change of address. It's a process of going through intense feelings, and after you go through all this chaos, hopefully you come to terms with your past. As the days went by, the house was gradually becoming emptier, and each thing I chose to let go of felt like saying goodbye to my past. So, as I close these boxes and head off to Europe, I'm so excited about creating this next chapter of my life. As the years go by, I'm realizing what truly counts. To me, it's having the freedom to choose where I want to live. I don't want to be in a high-stress country. I want to be able to choose a safe, welcoming, and peaceful place. If you enjoyed this video, then go watch my other video about how I moved to Europe and how you can do it too. And I will see you again very soon. Take care.